Welcome back to another Backchat Bite. Today, I'm going to share just another day in the Backchat clinic. These 4 stories were told to me within a 10-hour clinic day. And to me, as a mum of 3 boys, but also a paediatric therapist, these stories sum up exactly why our kids are going off the rails here in Australia. Even kids who are in a loving, caring home where parents will stop at nothing to get them access. One mum told me how her very busy, delightful, but very busy, dysregulated, impulsive, hyperactive young son, who was very routined and structured at school because he has a fabulous teacher and a wonderful visual timetable, who threw a toy car into their smart TV the weekend past and had shattered it everywhere, glass everywhere. That same school would refuse to fill in the forms for her to go to a paediatrician and seek help. Shattered it. His impulsiveness, his hyperactivity, which is not seen at school because he is so routined, because that's what happens when children have autism. They are routined, they are structured, and they are timetabled, and they mask it at school because of that routine, that structure. This literally doesn't even make it to the car on the way home before he loses it. And I know many parents who know this story. Another mum with a little guy repeating kindy. Yep. Second time around in kindergarten and we're still playing, which, to be honest, for most therapists is fine. They like to sit, they like to talk. Therapists like to sit and talk, and let's just do the wait and see approach. He'll come around. It'll be okay. He'll come around one day. So we're playing with farm animals. We're doing a little bit of counting, but only oral counting, because the minute you introduce a card, a number card that he has to look at, he runs away, he hides under the couch, he hides under the table, he says no, he runs out of the room. A hyperlexic, brilliant little guy who can do adding, who can do doubles, brilliant little child, but his paediatrician refuses to give him a diagnosis. She looked at his mum horrified and said, "Oh my goodness, why would we do that? Why would you do that to your son? He's not stupid." I'm not kidding. This is what the paediatrician said to this mum. This poor mum who is suffering and really struggling with a highly dysregulated little guy, highly dysregulated, who will be starting school next year, probably in this state, because number one, the paediatrician will not acknowledge his issues, despite the fact that 2 very experienced therapists have separately identified them. But she also will not even look at treating it and helping him with his regulation. Yeah, I'm not kidding. My 3rd story of the day is about a family I've known for years. Absolutely amazing parents, tiger parents. They have literally climbed mountains with their little guy. Their eldest child, who had a presentation of severe childhood apraxia of speech, inattentive ADHD with very severe working memory, which of course underpins and really affects the motor planning in speech sound disorders, also his motor planning in terms of his motor coordination, and he had a very severe developmental language disorder. Now in grade 2, this little guy is doing brilliantly. He's had fantastic joint intervention with a team, and on top of that, he's also received expert specialist level guidance with a paediatrician who works to introduce conservatively very microdoses of medication to help improve neural connections in his brain, to help him plan, to help him organise, to help him focus and to help him retain information. When his parents went to a meeting, desperate for information, grade 2 was a really big jump for these little ones, their processing speed, their attention. When his parents went to a meeting with the classroom teacher and the learning support teacher, they were told, he's doing really well, there's no problems. He's doing really well. He's not a behaviour problem. He's a lovely child. He's wonderful. He's so sweet. "I know he's sweet," said his mum. "I know he's a lovely child. I know he's wonderful. I know he's sweet. I know he's lovely. I know he's well cared for. I know all of these things about him. I want to know how he's going." And she was horrified then later when she saw his writing book to see that the demands of writing this year has stepped up, and because of his processing speed issues, his writing hasn't quite made that jump, and no one had alerted her to this. She was furious. And I mean, these are parents who are engaged, are motivated, and are really wanting to help their little ones. And finally, on this day, I had to call, pardon me, a paediatrician. after one of our little backchatters was being repeatedly suspended at school. The vice principal was following him around in the unstructured areas of play because he could not socialise with other children without lashing out, without hitting, without kicking, without screaming. Lovely little boy, beautiful child in a loving, caring home, but who was extremely dysregulated. And because of the difficulties that we have with teachers not able to speak to paediatricians, principals not able to reach out, there's no collaboration between team members. People aren't able to talk to each other about these children. So as a result, this child was being repeatedly suspended, his parents having to stay at home day after day with him. These are significant issues in our society that we need to talk about. We need more interaction, more collaboration. We need more conversations between the people working with our little ones. And I know we've got huge waiting lists. I know there's many more to see and that it doesn't matter because there's always more money to be made. But we need to start talking about outcomes for our kids. It's not about money. It's not about the fact that you have a huge waiting list with other little ones you can see. We need to be getting better outcomes for every single little one on our caseload. Thank you for listening to Conversations with Olwen. If you know somebody who needs to hear this episode today, please share it with them. Until next time,